You learned a lot about crowd and group phenomena in your readings this week. The take-home message from this is that we think and act differently in groups than we do outside of groups or individually. We have some weird, deviant, and sometimes outright crazy tendencies that we are more likely to exhibit in groups. This is my favorite book about crowd madness examples over history, just in case you want to look that up. Now, let's see how well you remember your group and crowd phenomena from your learning path this week. So here's a test you're learning. You're going to want to pause this video and give this a shot yourself, and then resume the video and come back and compare answers with us. Okay, number one is social facilitation. And I want you to think about something a minute, something you read about. Let's see if you can remember. When does an audience help and when does it hurt? Pause if you need to for a moment to think of this. So an audience really helps if you're really good at something. So it can really increase your energy, your excitement, your adrenaline in a very positive way, right? That feeds into your performance. An audience, though, on the other hand, really tends to hurt your performance if you're not good at what you're doing, if you're not good at it, well rehearsed, prepared, right? Number two is social loafing. Jack slacks on his group assignment. So why would he slack in a group assignment in a way that he may not if it were an individual assignment? Well, it's a lack of personal responsibility, right? So the idea that you have less personal responsibility when the rest of the group is kind of covering up for you and your individual contribution isn't so blatant. Okay, social loafing. Number three is the bystander effect. Very interesting that the busier it is, the least likely people are to help. But the reason for that is that they all tend to assume that somebody else will. Okay? So that is called the bystander effect. Number four is groupthink, and that is when a group makes a decision incorrectly simply because it was the majority view, and they didn't encourage minority views. The take-home message there is we really want to encourage minority views and think them through carefully, right? Number five is group polarization. So the idea here is that regardless of what side you're on, the more that you hear those arguments, the more you tend to believe them. And unfortunately, people tend to only expose themselves to the side that they are on originally. So they are never, or far less likely, to be exposed to arguments on the other side. Okay. Group polarization. Number six is de-individuation. So it said here, Lily only paraded topless because all the other women did. And so that is suggesting that she would never do this alone, which leads us back to that idea of lack of personal responsibility. Now, knowing that de-individuation occurs because people feel less responsible in groups, what might one wear that would enhance this effect? So make it even stronger. On Mardi Gras or Halloween, something that would further decrease this feeling of personal responsibility. And that would be a mask. All right, so one of our topics today is cults. Very interesting topic. And I want to start here with a true story. Steve Hasen claims that a high-speed collision with a semi-truck nearly killed and saved him. He was not just a Moonie, he was one of Reverend Moon's most fervent leaders. He was seduced when he was a regular college student from a middle-class, loving home. His girlfriend had broken up with him. He was very lonely at college and depressed when he was approached by three really attractive women on campus. He was recruited, then indoctrinated into this group over time. Eventually, he moved in with the group. A year later, turned over all his money, and he was promoted higher and higher in the group over time. He then broke off all contact with family and quit school to start to work full-time on traveling missions, raising funds for the organization. Suffering from exhaustion and a lack of sleep, one night he fell asleep at the wheel and crashed. After undergoing extensive surgery and hospitalization, he was released to his sister's home. His father hired deprogrammers. Steve resisted fiercely, but within days, Steve rejected Mooney doctrine and expressed deep embarrassment for ever falling for it. How did he get brainwashed by a phony doctrine so completely? How was he deprogrammed so effectively? And the answer is the same for both. Both were accomplished through the same principles of social influence. By the way, Steve Hazen is now one of the country's leading cult exit counselors who specializes in using the same social influence techniques from social psychology that first entrapped him and then set him free. He uses these now to help set others free. In other words, to deprogram them.